Yo, what's going on, people? You know who it is. It's Tay Wiz coming live for the Man Cave as usual. For those subscribers out there not subscribed to the YouTube channel or the Twitter page, head on over now and feel free to do so now at TAE_WIGGS. And furthermore, I got the website up. Head on over to that to www.dante1910.wixsite.com /Tay Wiz. Pictures, everything. Drop some stuff over there. Drop a comment. Let me know what y'all think. But let's get right into it. Derrick Rose of the Cleveland Cavaliers should be in the lineup any game soon. They say he want to make an appearance and get back into the lineup within the 5-game road trip. So hopefully we can see Derrick Rose in a couple of games since they already got IT back. Blake Griffin is not taking the floor tonight. He's still in concussion protocol for the Clippers. So he would sit this one out against the Warriors. Good news coming from Toronto. Kyle Lowry, no spinal cord injury. Thank God for that. Right now, bruised tailbone. Right now is day-to-day. He probably be out another week or so. Get well soon. Temperatures was flaring last night in the Toronto Raptors game. In the Miami Heat. James Johnson. And the big guy, Serge Ibaka. Elbows and splits was throwing. Both got ejected late in the third quarter. They probably get suspended for a game or two. And let's get right into this. But I'll talk about what game I did watch last night. So, first and foremost, I compiled together. We know we halfway through the NBA season. We know the trade deadline is coming up February 8th, 3 p.m. So we 29 days out of that. But I got the 10 worst records right now in the NBA. If the NBA draft was started right now today at number 1, you will have the Atlanta Hawks. And when I see from Atlanta Hawks, they got the point guard, Dennis Schroeder. You got Taurean Prince. You got Kent Bazemore. And you got John Collins, the young center. If I was Atlanta Hawks, if the draft was today, with my first pick, I would be taking Marvin Bagley III out of Duke. And the reason being because he reminds me a lot of Jabari Parker. He can score at will. He's a rebounder. And I love a player that can play defense on the defensive end of the floor. He set his teammates and get in the right area. When I see from Marvin Bagley, he would bring that to them. Another dynamic player on the floor. Another guy who can step out and hit threes when everybody else cannot get it going. So if you line him up with a Dennis Schroeder, a guy who likes to attack the hole, it would be easy baskets for Marvin Bagley III, the forward/center out of Duke. That would be a good pickup for them. Number 2, you got the Orlando Magic. So you got Elfrid Payton, you got Aaron Gordon, you got Nikola Vucevic. And with that pick, I would take somebody like a Jaren Jackson out of Michigan State, freshman. Who else? Another person, the son of Jaren Jackson, who also played in the NBA. You're looking at another guy who can spread the floor in the Tom Izzo offense, and he can play defense. You know, Tom Izzo gets the guys that play defense. This is where I see him fall on that. If that happened to the Memphis Grizzlies, then you talk about if you're going to trade Marc Gasol by the trade deadline, you know, with the point guard injury there, with Mike Conley, he's been up and down this year since he signed that contract. You know, I would take the guard out of Real Madrid, Luka Doncic. That would be a great asset over there too as well. Another guy from overseas who's also NBA ready, who would put an impact on that part right there. Just have another backup point guard for the veteran over there in Memphis. Number 4, you got the Sacramento Kings, who has the 4th worst record in the league. You know, they kind of old at the positions bench-wise. You're looking at the Zach Randolph and Vince Carter. So you look at somebody like that. If you're looking for another stud, you can go to somebody like Michael Porter Jr. out of Missouri. We know he hasn't played basketball yet due to the back injuries. So it's a possibility that Michael Porter may not even play a game. I mean, a game, folks, in the Missouri Tigers uniform. But he's still eligible to go to the NBA because he'd be 1 year removed from high school basketball. So even though he's at Missouri, this guy has talent, a freak of a nature. Remember, he was like the number 2 player in the country coming from that area. So if he comes out, he can possibly fall to Sacramento Kings. They have a young nucleus of basketball players with a De'Aaron Fox, a Willie Cauley-Stein, a Buddy Hield. The names keep going on, a Frank Mason. I mean, a Harry Giles. This team is young. A Justin Jackson. If you put him in the mix, that team would be set up for greatness, just like the Lakers is. So I'm looking at certain things that these teams has bring to the table. We know number 5, that is the Lakers would be right now sitting in the 5th place of the worst record right now from top to bottom. So right now, that pick from the Lakers will go to the Boston Celtics. And with that pick, can Boston move that pick and get another veteran player or a young player? Boston may keep this pick, or they may package up somebody in this deal. You never know. They may trade Marcus Smart and that future first-round draft pick to another team to pick up another veteran or another big body. But who knows where this pick may go. So if Boston get that pick and they're looking for somebody else, they maybe can get the young guy to Texas, Muhammad Bamba, the young center, another great guy, defender, a shot blocker. He doesn't score at will. He's not what you call a scorer, but he will defend the paint. And I'm looking at Brad Stevens, like I said before in my last segment, that Brad Stevens is definitely one of them coaches who I compare to Greg Popovich of the East, because his offense and the way the players read him and feed into his dialogue is what you need in young players. Players that actually listen, because you got a lot of players that get drafted into the league and think they know everything, but they haven't seen everything. You can't tell a coach who played collegiate ball, also played professional basketball, tell him what to do. He's trying to groom young guys up and to make them to be the best professional athletes or ball players that they can be on the floor. And that's the reason why I say Brad Stevens, that would be a good pick for him, the center out of Texas. Number 6 would be the Dallas Mavericks. We know Dirk Nowitzki is going into, he's right now in his 20th year, I believe. And we know that team in search of a new, they already said they drafted Dennis Smith Jr., who is a stud right now for the Dallas Mavericks. But you're looking at that small forward, power forward, center spot, and you're looking at players who they can go out there and get. I'm going to say, if everything goes right, I would say the center from Arizona, DeAndre Ayton. Big body, best player in the country. He played for the Arizona Wildcats. You know, I got a crazy work schedule. Some nights I might get off at 9. Some days I might get off at 4 or 5. But the days I get off at 9 o'clock or so, I will sit back in the man cave, of course, kick my feet up, you know, have a snack or two. I would sit back and watch some of these West Coast games. And some of these West Coast games are very good. It's just except for some of the people on the East Coast don't get to see them because they go to sleep and they got to get up and work for morning. But watching this young guy run the floor would be great to put alongside with Dennis Smith Jr. A young point guard who can run the floor, and you get him a center that can run the floor, that opens the game up for everybody as well. So that put everybody in the right position for that team as well. So the young center out of Arizona, DeAndre Ayton, long defense, like I said, long, athletic, run the floor, shot blocker. He can score in the paint, but he don't have a nice 15 mid-range footer, but he's definitely a paint presence. Number 7 would be the Chicago Bulls. We know that Zach LaVine is coming back. He's making his debut Saturday. And I'm looking at what can they get if they got Nikola Mirotic on the trading block. So you can look at somebody like a Kevin Knox out of Kentucky. If you're going to trade him, you already got Denzel Valentine and Bobby Portis. But to solidify another younger guy into your lineup, coming off the bench to help out the young guys, you already got you a center, the other rookie from Arizona, Lauren. So, who's also doing great things for the Bulls as well. So, I'm looking at different things that these guys can do as well. So, like I said, Kevin Knox, long athletic, who also can knock down a 3, a defender in that Calipari defense, and he's an anchor man on offense. So, there's different ways that this guy can get baskets on the floor. He's very emotional player with something the Bulls need. Haven't seen an emotional player since Derrick Rose. So they can find another player like that, like Kevin Knox from Kentucky, who can get the job done. Sky's the limit. They can turn this thing around as soon as possible. But right now, that's where they have the 7th pick. So right now, everybody, the Brooklyn Nets got the 8th worst record in the league. And I'm looking here on my paper right now, keeping everybody in tune. That Brooklyn Nets pick would be the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cavaliers getting all type of phone calls for that pick. You know, you hearing things in the news that DeAndre Jordan is available. The Cavs is looking at him, but the one thing the Cavs don't want to do is give up that protected pick just because they want to protect themselves in case LeBron James may leave or bolt out in the summer. I feel like if the Cavaliers can make that trade, you could trade somebody like a Tristan Thompson, Iman Shumpert, or a Shannon Fry off the books to pick up a DeAndre Jordan. It's not asking too much. You may miss Shumpert just because Shumpert does play defense on some of your offensive guys in the league, some of your best perimeter shooters as well. But if you can give a Shannon Fry or a Tristan Thompson for a DeAndre Jordan, because the Cavaliers need a rim protector as well. But if that may happen, if the Cavaliers do keep that pick, if they want to go young with a point guard, I'm looking at Trae Young out of Oklahoma, folks, if he falls that far down. Remember, through my first 7 picks, it's been nothing but big man because all these teams need big man, and most of these teams are already set at the point guard position. So, if he fall down to the Cavaliers, Trae Young to number 8, and you already got Derrick Rose on a 2-year contract, and you can still move a Derrick Rose in the summertime, and you know you have Isaiah Thomas as a free agent. So anything can happen with that pick. That's why the Cavaliers, they want to hold on to it, cling on to it, because you don't know what can happen between now and June when the NBA draft starts. So I got that. The Cavaliers picking up Trae Young from Oklahoma. That point guard is nice. If y'all not watching him, it's almost like watching Steph Curry when he was at Davidson University. So you have to see him play. Sorry, folks. If it's just one, if he come on at 9 o'clock, I know you got to get up in the morning for work. I'm just begging folks out there. Can you please just watch one half? If it's the second half or the first half, just watch a half of Trae Young basketball. This guy averaged 42 points per game in high school. And he's doing this right now on the collegiate level, averaging 20, and he's getting double-doubles. These are big doubles. I'm talking about grown man double-doubles. I'm talking about 20 points. To go along on some nights with 22 rebounds. And that is crazy. That's a point guard. And he'll probably be still in the draft if you put him alongside somebody like a LeBron James. And you know you lost Kyrie Irving. But nothing to knock on Isaiah Thomas. You just don't know where that hip injury may go again. Right now, he sees 80%. And I'm not knocking him. You see me. I'm not knocking him. Play through it. That's what makes this guy tough. But if the Cavaliers come right up, that'd be nice. Number 9 would be the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns got a lot of young talent. And I'm looking at somebody else that can get them. They already owe at the center spot. You got Tyson Chandler who comes in and out the lineup. And I'm looking at somebody like a Miles. What's this guy named? Miles Bridges out of Michigan State for the Phoenix Suns. You already got D. Booker. You already got the Marquise Chris. Got some young talent there. Tyler Ulis. But you can get Miles Bridges, and that's the forward for Michigan State. You get him, put him in that lineup. That's a nice young team on the rise. But the one thing the Phoenix Suns they got to figure out how to win games and stuff like that. They will be in the top 10 for a lottery pick because they win one game here, then they lose 2 in a row, they come back and win 2 in a row, then lose 4 in a row. So they pretty much up and down. This team right here disappointed me that I feel like shouldn't even be considered a top 10 team to be drafted at the top spot. It's the Charlotte Hornets. You got Dwight Howard, Kemba Walker, Nicholas Batum, and I'm going to be honest. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. Shout out to Outline Ohio. If you want your latest Outline Ohio gear, head over there to OutlineOhio.com. Man, care package, still loving it. Appreciate that. But honest, the Charlotte Hornets, you got Dwight Howard and Kemba Walker. And by me living here, watching more games than them on TV, this team should not be in talks for a lottery pick. You got Dwight Howard. We know it's not the same Dwight Howard that you've seen playing for Orlando Magic or the Los Angeles Lakers. They say he have a back issue. I'm not going to use that. It's a lot of players, professional players, that have back injuries. And I'm not using that to a Dwight Howard excuse. But let's be honest. This team should not be a top 10 team to be picking for somebody else like that. So I'm looking at where they can go. Get you another point guard. Somebody that can back up a Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker is playing heavenly minutes every night he step on the floor. And eventually, his body one day gonna tell him he's tired, he's not gonna be able to go. But I'm gonna give it to Kemba Walker. He's a warrior. And that's what I like about Kemba Walker. And some people don't watch the Hornets play because they're a small market team. Like I said, if you don't have NBA.com League Pass, head over to right now and sign up. 5 easy payments of $33.99. They're doing a lot. And the person I'm disappointed in is two people. I can't blame it on the player, but I can blame it on the GM, Rich Child. You got this GM from Portland. I'm trying to figure out what are some of the biggest moves that he made to get this team better. The team regressed when he lost out on certain players that they have. Courtney Lee, they was in the playoffs with him. Players moving on, going to different teams. And I figured they should have kept him. They got to let players walk. Al Jefferson, because they want to give him the extra $1 million. Indiana gave him the extra $1 million and he rode the bench for them. So I feel like the GM is not doing a good job. I feel like the GM should have got fired. Especially if you gave Nicholas Batum a contract for $520 million. No knock on Nicholas Batum. I met the guy. Very nice. But right now, I'm going to be honest, as I'm speaking basketball, I'm not going to be biased. Yes, I take pictures with celebrities of a higher profile. But guess what? Even though I take a picture with you, you still can get these words. They paid you a 5-year deal for $120 million. I've been to a couple of games. I'm not only seen a couple of games. I've been to a lot of games, and I sat there on the occasion nights and seen Nicholas Batum. I look up sometimes on the scoreboard. I look up and go like this. We in the third quarter, and I was like, Nicholas Batum got 8 points to go along with 2 rebounds. You tell me y'all pay him a 5-year deal, $120 million. He should be out there scoring 30 at will. They brought him in to take pressure off Kemba Walker. It's like Kemba Walker is carrying the load. Kemba Walker is arguably top 10 point guard in the league. I just feel like they should get more out of him, out of Nicholas Batum. I don't understand why they keep sending Dwayne Bacon and Malik Monk back down to the G League, to the Greensboro Swarm. For what? Cody Zeller's out. Keep these guys in. They have played one game at the arena and you send them right back down to Greensboro. Come back right down to Greensboro. I don't get it. Like I said, I'm just an average fan watching it and sitting back and looking at what I'm seeing. And I feel like the Hornets could do way much better than number 10. If they want to go with another guard to bag up Kemba Walker, I will go with the freshman out of Alabama, who I definitely like, Colin Sexton. Savvy guard, quick. I'm going to tell you who he reminds me of. He reminds me of Darren Fox or a little bit of John Wall. The guy can get from point A to point C in probably 2 seconds down the floor. He's like that. If you get somebody like that with Kemba Walker at that 10 spot, that point guard from Alabama, Colin Sexton, that would be a great move. But first and foremost, if I was the Hornets at the end of the season, I would be serious. If I was Michael Jordan, I would actually sit down and find me another GM. And like I said, you got the All-Star game coming here in 2019. Find some other, open that paycheck book up, Michael Jordan. Open that paycheck book up. Open that checkbook up and write the check. And the reason I'm saying write that check, because you got some Air Jordan shoes out here. Not taking shots. You got Air Jordan shoes out here going for $220. Some is $3 a pop. Be that owner to open that paybook up and go build you a super team. You got Kemba Walker. Go get you 2 more. I ain't talking about all-stars. You need 2 more superstars. Boogie Cousins is a free agent. Go get you a Paul George. If you can't at the end of the season, go get you a Carmelo Anthony or somebody. Somebody to come in to take that load off Kemba Walker. That's what I'm going up against. Those are my top 10 picks right there of the NBA draft. We're going to get right into this part. So the game I did sit back and watch last night was the Portland Trailblazers and the OKC Thunder. Last night, we know the Portland Trailblazers came in at 21 wins and 18 losses. And we know OKC Thunder came in with 22 wins and 18 losses. So, this game last night, I'm sitting back watching. There was no Damian Lillard, even though he had the game winner the other night. There's no Damian Lillard. CJ McCollum, the best kept secret in basketball right now on the West Coast. This guy, CJ McCollum, is carrying the load for Damian Lillard when he's injured. And these guys probably might be the second, I'm going to say probably the first best backcourt in the league. Everybody probably going to say Golden State. I'm not going to give it to Golden State. I give them the second best because the reason being, Klay Thompson don't score in the 20s like I used to every night. His touches went down since Kevin Durant has joined forces with the Golden State Warriors. CJ McCollum, best kept secret. Could there be a possibility he could be on a trading block? We don't know. Because we have seen the past NBA GMs do some shocking things around the deadline. Could you see them package him up? I wouldn't say that because Damian Lillard and him really coexist like none other. They both unselfish players. They both came from small schools. We know Damian Lillard came from Weber State. And we know that CJ McCollum came from Lehigh. And I'm looking at the things that these guys do. They're a dynamic duo. But CJ McCollum last night poured it on the OKC Thunder. 27 points to go along with 7 assists. And this team right here are just 2 players away to get where they're going. And it's sad because people don't get the Portland Trailblazers the respect they need. Right now they sit like what, fifth or sixth place right now in the West, in the Western Conference. And the West is a war zone. It's like you lose a game. If you lose 2 games in the West, you can fall from the 2 spot all the way down to the 7th spot in the blink of an eye. And by me sitting down watching this game, another person who been traded throughout his little young NBA journey career is Sebastian Napier. Once got drafted by the Miami Heat. Now he's on the Portland Trailblazers. Dude scored 21 points and 5 rebounds. He started last night. Remember, he went to the same college as Kemba Walker, UConn. UConn is known for having great point guards and shooting guards. This guy, Sebastian Napier, so quick and savvy around the cup. OKC didn't have an answer for him. The one thing about the OKC Thunder, they give up too many easy buckets. You got Russell Westbrook. He's going to play defense. Carmelo Anthony's not a great defender. And we know Paul George is a so-so defender. He can be better. He's long. Remember, Paul George is like 6'9", 6'10". And no knock on the, I'm not gonna say no knock, but I'm gonna knock the Thunder for this. Portland Trailblazers was out rebounding them in the second half, getting anything they want, all the loose balls. This team right here is playing with more desire. Just because OKC Thunder may have Melo, PG, and the Brody, doesn't mean that other team is gonna lay down. You know what the other team gonna do? Oh, we on national TV. They picking us to lose. And guess what? We gonna show them otherwise. This is what happened to some of your teams like the Cavaliers, the Houston Rockets, and the Golden State Warriors. I call it schedule watching. You win the games before you play them. That can be very dangerous. You cannot do that. This opponent is getting ready for you like how you getting ready for them. There's no days off that you can do. You have to bring it every night. And this is what I'm seeing from them. It's different things you have to do. got to be more quick and savvy on the toes for the OKC Thunder. I've been having conversation with some of my friends about this. Out of 7 people I talk to on a daily basis, I mean daily, every day we talk. That's how tight we are. We tight like super glue going on a piece of paper. And one of my friends, he a huge Melo fan. He said Melo should come off the bench. 3 of my other friends said they like Melo. 4 don't really care about Melo. So they was like, but one of my friends said Melo should come off the bench. He don't have to because he paid his dues and ties to the league. I said that's all good. My point was, if Melo come off the bench with that second unit, because last night their bench getting outscored. Their bench get outscored every night. They have one of the worst benches in the league. Portland Trail Blazers bench outscored them 32-27. If you bring Melo off the bench with them 19 points, and you put Paul George in a better flow, like how Russell Westbrook is, Steven Adams going to get his because he don't get no offensive plays. All the Steven Adams points come from either oops or loose rebounds. He going up for the offensive rebound, putting it back in for 2 points. If Melo come off that bench with that second unit, he would give that second unit some spark with a Ray Felton. He played with Ray Felton at New York. So, with that being said, Ray Felton understands the Carmelo Anthony way of basketball. If you break him off the bench, Melo can stay Melo. Melo can't stay Melo in the starting lineup if you got Russell Westbrook carrying the load, getting about 20-something touches a game. Then you have Paul George going to get his 17 to 18 touches. So you got Melo trying to score 19 points. Melo is chalking the ball up. Melo's out of rhythm. I would bring Carmelo Anthony off the bench. He would be a better fit off the bench for the OKC Thunder. This is what he needs to do. You need to bring him off the bench. Billy Donovan, bring Carmelo Anthony off the bench. If you don't bring Melo off the bench, your record's going to keep falling. You don't want your record to fall. Because right now, you guys is in 6th place. If you lose 2 more games, you can fall all the way down to 10th place in the West. You know how that can be. You just can't be like a light switch that you're going to turn it on and just run teams off the floor. You playing in the West Coast, when they going to go crazy? It's the West Coast. You're now in the East. Any given night, you playing Houston, Golden State, San Antonio, a Portland team that people are sleeping on. The Memphis Grizzlies, even though they have a terrible record, they will catch you slipping. It is the West Coast. The young Timberwolves, hungry. You see what they did to Cleveland the other day? Slaughter them. Younger teams will find a way to beat a veteran team. You just can't win games running down the floor, chalking up threes, playing like the gym is on fire. Because guess what? You play the gym on fire, you will be fired. Point blank, simple as that. You have to bring Melo to the bench. D-Wade started a couple of games for Cleveland, and D-Wade said, you know what, Lou? I'm going to come off the bench. Why? He's better suited off the bench. Why D-Wade's coming off the bench? D-Wade is 34 years old. D-Wade said, you know what, coach? I'm not going to be able to keep up with these young guys with 34-plus minutes a game. But it'll probably be best interest if I come off the bench, average about 17, 18 minutes per game, and average about 15 points. If Melo could do that, the OKC Thunder record would not be 22 wins and 19 losses. I guarantee you they would have won about 30 games by now. That's just simple facts. And Billy Donovan, OKC Thunder, and their GM need to sit down and say, what is best for Melo? They need to have a heart-to-heart with Carmelo Anthony. Because he had a game of conversation. I don't care. I just want to win games. If you just want to win games, Carmelo Anthony, come off the bench. Put the ego to the side. Come off the bench. You made the millions. Come off the bench. Be that vocal leader for the young nucleus. Rally those troops up to make them better ball players. That's the only way you can stay Melo. On to the next. We had the Ball brothers overseas playing basketball. LaMelo and LiAngelo. In their debut, 10 points for LaMelo. LiAngelo had 19 points. And people are criticizing them because, first and foremost, because LaMelo is 16 years old playing professional basketball overseas. They say he should be in school. I said, that's all fine and dandy, but you can't tell another man or another woman how to raise their child, first and foremost. Let's be honest. With that, you're taking criticism, but you can't, you say you got to be on, they don't want to draft high school players because they're 18, right? This is where I'm about to say about the NBA on this. And I'm going to be honest. I think the NBA should go back to drafting high school players out of high school. Why? Because players like Dennis Schroeder, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Dirk Nowitzki. No, I ain't going to say Dirk because he got drafted in that era. I'm going to say Giannis Antetokounmpo, Dennis Schroeder. Some of these guys been playing professional basketball since they were 16. Why? Because they had these global games. They had the United States of America, AAU high school basketball team playing these gold medal games against like these teams from Germany and the Congo and Africa, right? So, but they said we don't want to draft high schoolers. And this is debate I had with one of my close friends, to be exact. To be honest, to be just like this. So, you can get a job working at Taco Bell at 16. You get a job at working at a car wash at 16. You see where I'm going with this, right, folks? Get a job at 16 years old, working with like a CBS or Foot Locker, but you have a worker's permit, right? But you can do that. But you can't go out there professionally and make millions for your family. They're going to tell you, you got to be 1 year removed from high school. That's a bunch of malarkey. But you can go overseas. Fly your airplane over for a 14 or 18-hour flight to go scout the next up-and-coming so-and-so. But you can draft him and look at him while he was 16 and get him at 18. But you want to send these guys to college to play 1 year of basketball because you would say the body's not developed. How many overseas players did we draft in this NBA that some of these guys didn't even last? Some of these guys didn't even make it out of training camp. You need to go look at that number. If you can, go look at NBA drafts from 2001. I want you to count all the overseas players that have stayed and made a name for themselves in the National Basketball Association. This is what they're not talking about on the sports radio or on TV. This is where Tay Wiz come in live from the Man Cave and educate y'all on this. Just dropping some jewels on this Wednesday. I'm going to call it Feedback Wednesday for y'all. On this Feedback Wednesday. When I go around the league and look at certain players that come from overseas, they're like, yo, they drafted this player 7 years ago and he still hasn't came over. Why? He's not ready for that challenge. 2, he said his ball club overseas is paying him more. 3, he knows if he come over here to the NBA, the game would be called different and ref different. Those are the main 3 reasons. Money, don't want to leave home, and being ref different compared to what they do overseas. But you can't say these players that's over here in America or the United States, you don't want to draft them because they got to either be 1 year removed from high school or they have to go to college. If you're a great ball player and you can pat that rock, who said you can't go to the NBA? Now, if you got some guys out here that might be some good surgeons at 16, 17 years old, they can go to, some of these guys graduate college at 17, 18 years old and get a good paying job to be a neurosurgeon and stuff like that. You cannot deny somebody who has a great talent and don't showcase it. What happened to that player get injured? You got to take that risk. I feel like the NBA should remove that cap and let these high school players come out. If they come out, if they don't fit, that's what you got the G League for. You sit them down, you make them hit the weights, you groom them up. You sit them down there. You make them become a better pro. But if he's that good, most players might go to college anyway just to get that college experience. But certain players that you know who, for a fact who could have came out and made an impact as soon as possible, one have been Jabari Parker. Facts. Two would have been Marvin Bagley. That is huge facts. I'm looking at certain guys who I know could have made an instant impact on these teams. You can't deny nobody work, but back to LaMelo and LiAngelo Ball. You know, Big Baller Brand is doing some good things over there. And remember, they're not the first guys to do this. Let's go out and give credit when credit is due. Brandon Jennings said, you know what? I don't want to go to college. You know what's funny? The Ball Brothers are the first players to do this. I'm going to be honest. This is facts. Brandon Jennings said, you know what? I got a trick for y'all. I'm going to go. I did my 4 years of high school basketball. I played at Oak Hill. I'm going to go overseas and play 1 year for a team over there. He did that. He was a top 10 NBA draft pick because it worked out. There are ways around the system. They don't want you to beat the system. And he did that. So what I want y'all to do, I want y'all to go to Brandon Jennings' page and salute that guy. Because they're not giving him credit for it. He changed the game with that. And I'm going to give credit where credit's due. Brandon Jennings was smart to do that. He went overseas, made some money. Then he came back and did that and got drafted. And he's been back and forth leading overseas. So that right there, pay him the homage first. I know Big Baller Brand's doing their thing. And I like what Big Baller Brand doing. But Brandon Jennings, shout out to you, my brother. If you watching this, salute. Because you did it first. So y'all need to show him some respect. We know that Big Baller Brand doing some things. What he say? I'm going to have all three of my sons in the Lakers. You got to speak it out. If you believe it, it can happen. It can happen. Do I believe all three of them play for the Lakers? No way. They might play for different teams and they might become free agents and may sound to Lakers in the free agency deal, or they go try for Lakers and they don't get drafted. That's a possibility. Playing on the Lakers D-League team, that can happen. But as them getting drafted to the Lakers, that's far-fetched because they will take better players available. And we already know they already got certain players on the trading block already. Larry Nance Jr., Jordan Clarkson, and Julius Randle. They trying to make room in the summertime for this 2018 summer splash. But before I go, we got a couple of games on tap tonight. 11 to be exact. You got the Dallas Mavericks taking on the Charlotte Hornets. Dennis Smith Jr. coming back home. You got the Miami Heat taking the Pacers. You got the Jazz and Wizards. You got the Detroit Pistons taking on the Brooklyn Nets. The Chicago Bulls and Knicks. Portland Trail Blazers and Rockets may be a good game. New Orleans Pelicans and Grizzlies. Milwaukee Bucks and Magic. Thunders and Wolves come on tonight. That's a good game you should watch tonight on ESPN. The Atlanta Hawks play the Denver Nuggets, and the Clippers play the Warriors. And with that being said, I'm going to take the Hornets tonight. I'm going to go with the Pacers. I'm going to go with the Wizards. I'm going to go with the Pistons. I'm going to go with the Surging Bulls. Upset alert. Upset alert. I'm going to go with the Portland Trail Blazers. I'm going to go with the Pelicans. I'm going to go with the Milwaukee Bucks, who got shellacked the other night, to bounce back. I'm looking for the Thunder to bounce back and get a win as well. I'm looking for the Nuggets to eat the Hawks up. I'm looking for the Golden State Warriors to blow the Clippers out by 27 tonight. And y'all know who I am. Tay Wiz reporting live from the Man Cave. Cheers.